Let's go on to Real Madrid and Kylian Mbappe. Okay, the two of you. Let's start with you, LME. Give me a grade, if you were a teacher, between A and F for Kylian Mbappe's start to life with Real Madrid. I just want a letter. I'll get Don's, and then we can discuss why. What's your grade for Kylian Mbappe so far at Real Madrid, LME?
B+.
Okay, Don?
I agree. B+. Exactly what I was thinking.
So, the way that he's come in, it took a while to score his first goal, and he said after that first goal that he scored when he got 2 in the one game that it was a big relief, and now he can kick on. It just shows you, no matter what club you're at, we're talking about Man United kits being heavy, Real Madrid kits being heavy. Now he's off and running. Unfortunately, he's been injured. LME, what has Real Madrid done differently from last season when they had Vinny Jr., they had Rodrigo, they had Bellingham coming from deep, but now you're adding in Kylian Mbappe into the mix? What's worked and what hasn't?
Well, I have to be honest with you. It's a good question because there needs to be an understanding that, yes, Kylian Mbappe has got 7 goals in all competitions after scoring against Atalanta in the Super Cup. It took him a while to get going, but he got going. Real Madrid are only 3 points behind Hansi Flick's Barcelona. They remain undefeated in La Liga, but there are cracks. And it's not to say that Carlo Ancelotti can't figure it out, because after all, it is Real Madrid and it is Carlo Ancelotti. But I do divert to something that the former Real Madrid legend Guti said in El Chiringuito, which is, I got to tell you something. They're a bit slow. There's a little bit of a detachment between midfield and attack. And part of it is it's not so much on Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, is the fact that I think Toni Kroos's absence is a big one here. And we saw that in the loss to Lille. And he didn't play against Atletico Madrid. It was a 1-0 result, but I still have yet to see Real Madrid get going. And I know it sounds a little bit like a blind criticism because of where they are on the table, but they haven't actually played somebody that can really test them aside from Atletico Madrid, which ended in 1-0. So I'm really hoping to see that Clásico against Barcelona. That will be a great test, because here's the thing. The hype was so gargantuan on Kylian Mbappe to come to Real Madrid. We all knew it. It was this telenovela that we just wanted it to end. And the thing is, the moment it happened, the expectations of what he needs to do in his first season are also ridiculous gargantuan, because Mbappe needed Real Madrid more than Real Madrid needed Mbappe. This is the La Liga champions, the defending Champions League champions. They got Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, Rodrigo. They didn't need Mbappe. And now that they have him, it's an issue for Ancelotti to try and figure out how to make it all work. And you saw the issues against Lille, right? There was a lot of alteration up front. Vinny and when Mbappe came in the second half, they were trying to occupy the left space. Then he went more central. I get it. Real Madrid will figure out eventually. But if they're going to win La Liga, if they're going to win the Champions League once again, it's going to be a much tougher mountain to climb, because Hansi Flick's Barcelona look better. And I still think that Toni Kroos's absence is a massive one, specifically in that midfield. And by the way, we haven't even mentioned Dani Carvajal out for the season as well. So there's a lot of issues there. So B+ for Mbappe, but a lot to get going.
So the early narrative, Don, with Real Madrid and with Mbappe there was, who's tracking back here? Because against Mallorca in the first game, there's gaps, space in the middle. You mentioned Toni Kroos. It hasn't really been replaced. So when you've got that such a talented front four, probably the most talented front four in world football, Bellingham in behind, Vinny one side, Rodrigo on the other, and then through the middle, the main man Mbappe himself. That leaves 6 other outfield players. Say 4 of them are defenders. Is 2 sitters enough to protect a back four and enough to ensure there isn't enough space for opposition to get in there? Or are you asking Vinny or Rodrigo to maybe pull back a little bit, or Jude Bellingham to pull back a little bit? What would be the solution to making sure that this can be a little bit more defensive as well as great going forward?
Discipline is always the buzzword and always will be. When you go back to the Galactica eras, and I'm trying to think of guys like Figo, and I'm trying to think like Roberto Carlos when they were bombing on, or Steve McManaman or Guti, the legendary players that they had when they all sort of went forward and attacked. What they had is they had Makelele when they bought Makelele, because they realized how important he was. And then look, 5 times Champions League winner, Casemiro. You need that type of player. So you can go out in the transfer market and you can buy this sort of player, but at the same time, it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world for Carlo Ancelotti to convert, say, Luka Modric, instead of playing him on the right-hand side of a 3, you can convert him at his age to stand still. And Busquets proved you don't have to be a defensive sort of shield or a warrior. You can still be in the right position at the right time. Or you might convert a Camavinga or a Tchouaméni. So all these players that Real Madrid have got, it's exactly like the Galactico era. Brilliant talent, super exciting, all going forward, scoring goals. But what you need is you need that one man who's going to be super disciplined just to say to the rest of the guys, I've got your back. You guys down the left, go and do what you want. You guys down the right, go and do what you want. The front boys go and score some goals. And I will sit here, stand still. And what I'll do, even when my fullbacks are bombing on, I'll stand here and I'll protect my 2 centre-backs, because that's the most important thing. The middle area of the pitch. We're sure it was the shambles of England last night. If you just pick a team from social media and you go, go on, boys, go and attack, and it looks great, and you get a win, everyone's going, Lee Carsley is a genius. It's exactly what we want. Greece proved last night. They could have scored 5, 6 or 7. They totally abominated Liverpool. England. They tore them apart. 3 goals disallowed. So from a Real Madrid point of view, Carlo Ancelotti will know the game. He's been around the block. He knows. He'll know exactly what to do. He'll time it to perfection. And I'm pretty sure in that training ground, he'll have a little piece where it's one of them 3 boys that I mentioned. Right, I see you as the most disciplined one. You come and sit here and use your experience. If it's Luka Modric or the youth of Camavinga, Tchouaméni, you're going to now get turned into a defensive midfield player.
And as far as Mbappe is concerned, Don, he's scored between 27 and 29 goals in his last 4 seasons. Is his first season at Real Madrid purely about it's a success if he scores X number of goals, or is it more than that?
No, I think it's the trophies. I think, yes, the numbers help, and you can back that up if you're Mbappe and you go, listen, I've scored 30 goals this season, I've done my job, but they're winning Champions Leagues. You know, before they're on 15 at the moment, blink an eye, they'll be on 20, because that's Real Madrid. It's what they do. So I think even though, yes, he wants the personal accolades, he wants the record, he wants the goals, I think once you make that move from PSG to Real Madrid, it's not about you anymore. Even though you're an ego, and I mentioned the Galacticos, they won along the way. And I think that's what they have to do.